Welcome to iTTV for Form 2 Science, where we continue our world through the senses. Today's lesson, Vision Defects. Now, normally our eye is going to pick up light, and when it picks up light, it focuses this light onto the retina. In a normal eye, the light is focused on the retina. But if we have something wrong with our eye, the light is not focused onto the retina. The light may be focused in front of the retina, or it may be focused behind the retina, or in some special circumstances, it can be focused in front and behind the retina. Whenever we have a problem such as this, where the light is not being focused onto the retina, we say we have a vision defect. Four main vision defects we have to look at are short-sightedness, long-sighted, color blindness, and astigmatism. So these are the four main vision defects that we have. And what we're really going to be looking at in most detail today is short-sighted or short-sightedness, long-sighted or long-sightedness, and astig or astigmatism. Now each one has its own particular reason for occurring. So let's go through each one and try to understand why we have these defects. Short-sightedness. You can see near objects but not far away objects. Why? Because the eyeball is too big. The image is formed in front of the eyeball. So with short-sightedness, we have the first of the situations where the light is not being focused on the retina. Let's have a look at this diagram on the board and try to understand how to understand whether it is short-sightedness or long-sightedness. We're just going to draw a simple diagram of the eye. I'm not going to put in all the main parts, just the eye with the retina, the lens, and the cornea. Okay, and then over here we're going to have our lens, which sits in the front, like so. And at the back here, this is our retina, which goes around. Now, as the light comes in from an object, the light is going to go through the lens, like so. And in the case of short-sightedness, it gets focused in front of the retina. It doesn't actually reach the retina, which is why we can't actually see it. So, with short-sightedness, short sight, basically our problem is very easy to understand. If the light can't reach the eyeball back area, which is the retina here, it means that the eyeball is too big. So always try to remember it like this. If you're short-sighted, the light is focused short of the retina. So try to remember it this way. If you're short-sighted, the light is focused short of the retina. Why is it short of the retina? Well, it's because the eyeball is too big. So the reason for short-sightedness is that the eyeball is too big. So try to remember this. If you are short-sighted, the light focuses short of the back. If it focuses short of the back, there must be a reason for it. It's because the eyeball is too big. So short-sightedness, the focus is short of the back. Reason, eyeball is too big. Let's move on now to long-sightedness. Long-sightedness. You can see far away objects but not near objects. Why? Because the eyeball is too small. The image is formed behind the eyeball. So here we have the opposite occurring. So we'll draw another eyeball over here. Once again, just the simple parts, the cornea in the front, and then the eyeball itself. And then I'll put in a retina over here, like that, and then we'll add in our lens in the front, like so. So here, as the light enters, the focusing occurs and the light rays actually focus behind the eyeball. So your focus is too long. So as the object light enters the eye, the focus is too long. Why is the focus too long? Well, in this case, because the eyeball is too small. So, for long-sighted, the problem we have is eyeball is too small. So try to remember like this. For long-sighted, the focus is too long. Why? The eyeball too small. So for both of them, try to remember it by where the light is being focused. For short-sighted, the light focuses too short. Why? The eyeball is too big. For long-sighted, the focus is too long. Why? The eyeball is too small. Now let's have a look at the third of the vision defects, which is astigmatism. Astigmatism. An astigmatic eye has an unevenly curved cornea. So in the case of astigmatism, it's got nothing to do with the size of the eyeball, it's to do with the cornea. And because the cornea has got this curvature on it that's uneven, it causes you to have not one image being formed, but many images being formed. And the images will be formed in front and behind the retina. When you have a situation like this, where you have many different images forming inside your eye, in front and behind the retina, it causes the image to become blurry because the brain is receiving just a bit too much information to interpret. Images fall in front of and beyond the retina, causing both close and distant objects to appear blurry. So that's the real problem with astigmatism. So the three main ones, short-sighted, long-sighted, and astigmatism, you need to know what the cause is and what the effect is. So once again, just quick recall, short-sighted, the focus is short because the eyeball is too big. Long-sighted, the focusing point is too long. Why? Because the eyeball is too small. And with astigmatism, because of an unevenly curved cornea, you get long focus and short focus. So you get focusing before and after the retina. Now that we've looked at the three main vision defects, let's try some questions to test our knowledge on what we've done so far. What causes short-sightedness? So, short-sightedness. Remember what I said just now? What's happening is the light focus is too short. If the light focus is too short, why? Why is it happening? Have you written down an answer? Let's have a look and see if you're correct. The eyeball is too big. Image forms in front of the retina. Let's try another question. What vision defect will you have if the eyeball is too small? So think about it. If your eyeball is too small, it's going to cause your focus point to be too long behind the eyeball. So what sort of vision defect would you have if your focus was too long? Think about it. Let's see if our answers are the same. long-sightedness. So remember, if your eyeball is too small, your focus is too long, you have long-sightedness. Let's try one last question. What causes astigmatism? So remember, I said just now, astigmatism has got nothing to do with the eyeball, it's to do with the cornea. Something's wrong with the cornea. Have you put your answer down? Let's have a look at the answer. An astigmatic eye has an unevenly curved cornea. Now that we've tried some questions, let's go back to the lesson and have a look at some other vision defects that might be a problem for us. Color blindness. Color blindness is a genetic disease. Some of the receptors for color vision are missing. So this is something, unfortunately, you are born with. Now, it doesn't have to be that your parents are colorblind for you to become colorblind. If you are colorblind, what's happened is some of the receptors in the retina are not working or are not present at all. Now, because some of these receptors are missing, it means we can't detect some colors. And this is basically the cause and the root of color blindness. They may not be able to determine some colors. Example, cannot distinguish between red and green. And this is one of the common things with color blindness, that you are not able to distinguish between particular colors, like for instance red or green. You can easily check for color blindness by going to the internet and downloading a color blindness chart, or going to your optometrist and asking your optometrist for a color blindness chart. In fact, you could use the one that's on the screen now. If you have a look at the slide, can you try to figure out what the number is? If you can clearly see what the number is, then you are not colorblind. If you do have some trouble seeing the number, then inform your parents and then ask them or go with them to an optometrist to check whether or not you're actually colorblind or whether or not it's your TV set that's just a bit blurred. Now let's move on to the next vision defect. Short-sightedness is corrected by using a concave lens. Now, what else we need to know about short-sighted and long-sightedness is how to fix the two of them. We also need to work out how to fix astigmatism. But we'll start with short-sightedness first. In the case of short-sightedness here, the problem we had was it was focusing in front of the eyeball. What we need to do is try to move the focus all the way back to the retina. And in order to do this, what we use is a particular type of lens called a concave lens. Now, a concave lens is drawn like this. It's got a straight line and it curves inwards like so. So this is concave. If you put a concave lens in front over here, like so, what happens is the light is pushed to the outside of the retina. Pushed to the outside of the lens. The retina is at the back. So the light, instead of coming over here, the light shoots outwards to the outside areas over here. When the light moves to the outer areas, it then actually just fixes itself and focuses right onto the retina. So how do you fix short-sightedness? We use a concave lens. Long-sightedness is corrected by using a convex lens. So over here we have our long-sightedness. Now, to fix this, we need what is called a convex lens. A convex lens kind of looks like this. Okay? Convex. If we put a convex lens in the front over here, what it does is, instead of letting the light go straight, it moves the light inside a little bit. When the light moves to the inside of the lens, it refocuses itself directly onto the retina. So long-sighted is fixed by using a convex lens. Astigmatism is corrected using a cylindrical lens. Now this is a unique lens and it's shaped like a cylinder, kind of a bit like this. So it's a rounded lens like so that is put inside your spectacles. When you use this cylindrical lens, basically it fixes the problem of that uneven cornea in the front, and it allows just a single focus to occur on the retina. So you need to not only know what causes the three main vision defects, long-sighted, short-sighted and astigmatism, you also need to know how to fix it, which means short-sighted is fixed with a concave lens, long-sighted is fixed with a convex lens, and astigmatism is fixed using a cylindrical lens. Blindness can be caused by injury to the eye or due to incomplete development. So there are two possibilities for why you're blind. Some people are born blind, and if they're born blind, it probably means that the eye didn't develop correctly while they were fetuses in their mother's womb. This is a common occurrence. Another reason that you can go blind is once you're born and you have perfect eyesight, something goes wrong with your eyes due to some sort of injury or some sort of illness. Now these are both unfortunate circumstances, but in today's modern world, most blind people can live a very comfortable life because they learn at a young age how to use their ears and make their ears so super sensitive that they can hear anything, and the ears to a certain extent compensate for a lack of sight. Presbyopia, defect in people over 40, cannot see near objects, like long-sightedness, fixed with convex lenses. Now, presbyopia is known as the old man's disease. Basically, like someone my age, who's over 40, after using our eyes for such a long time, our lenses become not so elastic, which means that they can't become thick quite easily. They stay in a thin shape. Now, when this happens, it means that we can't see anything close to us, which means that it's a bit of a problem when we are reading. So most people over the age of 40 at some point need to get what we call reading glasses. Now, reading glasses basically just use a convex lens so that we can see near objects. There's not much difference between presbyopia and long-sightedness, except that presbyopia is not something that you're born with, but it's something that occurs due to the use of your eyes over a long period of time. So all of you, get ready. By the time you hit 40, your eyes are going to start to deteriorate and you'll be able to see shorter and shorter things, less and less clearly. Glaucoma. Now, glaucoma is a disease that occurs, or not really a disease, I shouldn't call it that. It's a vision defect that occurs because sometimes the aqueous humor in your eye can't be drained out correctly. If the aqueous humor can't be drained out correctly, it sort of blocks the optic nerve. And because it blocks the optic nerve, it causes a cloudiness inside your eyes. It is easily fixed by using medicines or just draining the aqueous humor away. So, glaucoma, aqueous humor blocks optic nerve. So these are the other vision defects. They are important, but please understand, they are not as important as the three big ones: short-sighted, long-sighted, and astigmatism. These three commonly come out in your examinations and you really need to be ready for them. Now that we've had a look at all of the vision defects, let's try a few more questions before we tie everything up. How do you fix short-sightedness? So remember, with short-sightedness, we want to put a particular type of lens in the front of the eye so that it refocuses and the short focus is extended so that it touches the retina. Can you remember the type of lens? Let's see if you're right. Use a concave lens. So short-sightedness can be corrected with a concave lens. How do you fix long-sightedness? So remember, with short-sightedness, we used the concave lens. With long-sightedness, we use the other type of lens. Can you remember what it was called? Let's see if you're right. Use a convex lens. So long-sightedness can be corrected using a convex lens. What is the effect of color blindness? Remember, I said color blindness was a genetic disease and it caused us to have some trouble in terms of seeing something. Can you remember? Okay, let's see if our answers are similar. Cannot see colors like green or red. So the effect of color blindness is the inability to see some colors like green or red. So remember your vision defects. Short-sightedness, the focus is short, eyeball too big. Long-sightedness, the focus is too long, eyeball is too small. Astigmatism, unevenly curved cornea. And remember how we fix each of them. Short-sightedness with a concave lens, long-sightedness with a convex lens, and astigmatism with cylindrical lenses. That's all the time we have for today's lesson. Thank you for watching ITTV.